TWiGames.com.
Welcome to this week's episode of TWiGames.com. We begin with our first glance at Natal's pricing and Metroid Prime being named the Citizen Kane of video games. But first, Nintendo is the greatest company in the world, according to Business Week. Brian, is Business Week onto something?
What a great day for video games. They beat out Apple and Google. And look, I don't really understand the parameters for what they did. Here's one thing I do know. I'm glad Nintendo is back to being Nintendo. Even though they were still profitable in the GameCube era, that was the first time Nintendo joined the Me Too era. You know, they wanted to be the PS2 as well, you know, us too.
Yep.
Now, they're back to being the innovative ones. And Sony and Microsoft are flexing their powerful creative muscles by bringing out Me Too, Natal, and Motion Wand. It's good to see them back to their roots.
You know, look, I agree this is great for Nintendo. It's great that a video game company is at the forefront like this, but, you know, I got to disagree with you on your second point because, you know, first of all, I don't think Nintendo is back to being Nintendo. Yeah, they're back to innovating, and yeah, Microsoft and Sony are trying to catch up with that.
Well, that's what I said.
But, I don't really want Microsoft and Sony to copy that because, you know, I don't know. I feel like those types of games just.
But that's not a fault of Nintendo. That's a fault of Sony and Microsoft lacking creativity and innovation.
Yeah, look. I'm not.
You know, they don't have to copy.
I'm not taking anything away from Nintendo here. I mean, great company. This is a great accomplishment. All right. However, with stuff like this, you know, coming out Business Week saying they're the best company in the world.
Yeah.
You know, is this going to get to their heads?
I hope not. I don't want them to get into a funk.
But think about this. You know, you got all this stuff going on. Your sales are sky high, higher than ever. You know, for one, are they going to get arrogant, you know, like they have in the past in the 90s, okay? Two, are they going to be content with putting out stuff like Wii Fit instead of putting out new amazing franchises like they used to, or putting new amazing spins on their old franchises like Mario and Zelda, right? I mean, where's the new Zelda for the Wii?
It's coming. It's coming.
Is it coming?
It is coming.
Is it coming, or is Link?
And you know it's going to be phenomenal.
Or is Link going to be featured in the next Wii Fit Plus Plus?
No, first of all, that's not going to happen. And you bring up a good point with franchises. Nintendo is integral to the video game industry because not only innovation, but the franchises they have. Every generation, we have classics from Nintendo.
Let's get some new franchises.
Actual prices of Natal haven't been revealed, but Microsoft is hinting that it might cost as much as a console. Rich, I want to know, how much would you pay for Natal?
Let me tell you something, Bri. I would pay $99 even without...
$99? You have it down to the $99.
$99 even without great software, all right?
Really?
Because look, first of all...
You're just gonna let it, you sit there and stare at it.
You know me. I buy everything, all right? I would get it just to try it out, even if it was terrible, even if there was no software that like I even wanted to try.
You buy it, you put it in front of the TV, and then you're done with it.
Put it in front of the TV. No, I'd try it around, do some flipping around, whatever you do with Natal, all right? I'd definitely buy it for $99. Anything higher than that is ridiculous. But let me just say this. Hard drive, $150. Wi-Fi adapter, $100.
How much is this going to cost?
There's no way Natal is going to cost $99. And what Microsoft is doing, you know, this week, you know, they're pretty much kind of preparing us for console-like prices. Are we talking $200, $300?
Who knows? All I know is I will pay $0 for Natal. Not because I'm anti, because I don't buy hardware, I buy games.
Yep.
If you show me a phenomenal game with an amazing experience, I don't know how much I'd pay. I might be so overwhelmed with excitement, I'd drop $300. But right now, all I see is the painting game and the bottom of my sneaker game.
Yeah.
That is not enough for me to buy.
Think about this though. If this costs $200 or $300, if they're trying to get people to buy the 360 because of Natal,
right?
You're going to buy a 360 for $300 and a Natal for $200 or $300.
That is not happening. Consumers are not going to be doing that.
Consumers are not going to jump into this at $500 or $600. All right, so the people buying this are going to be people who already own the Xbox.
$0. They need software. I buy software.
According to ABCNews.com, Metroid Prime was named the Citizen Kane of video games. Bryant, is ABC.com out of their mind?
First of all, I want to get something out of the way. People love to throw this phrase around, Citizen Kane of blank. Let me explain what it means real quick. When Citizen Kane came out, it pioneered a lot of cinematic techniques, you know, deep focus, L cuts, certain types of dolly shots.
Yep.
And before Citizen Kane, movies were like stage plays that you happen to be filming. Citizen Kane was the first film that was uniquely a cinema experience. And it's still being bitten today.
But Brian, with all that said, Metroid Prime, like, of all the games to choose, look, Metroid Prime was a great game. It is a great game, but to call Metroid Prime the Citizen Kane of video games.
The Citizen
I mean,
Kane
that's a big
of video
statement.
games.
Right. Being a film guy such as yourself, what would you say if you had to choose? Is the Citizen Kane of video games?
If I had to choose under this criteria, it would have to be the Half-Life series. Because that game influenced a lot of game developers. It's still being copied. I mean, when you experience that story, there's no cutscene. You have to play to experience
I'm
Half-Life.
with you there. Batman Arkham Asylum, Call of Duty series. I mean, you're playing the game as the cutscene unfolds. You know, Call of Duty is a better example because you never see your character. I mean, these are things that will be copied forever, you know, in the world of video games. I mean, great call.
When speaking with Forbes magazine, Sony Computer Entertainment of America's CEO Jack Tretton said, quote, "The environment where PlayStation wins is the best for the industry." Rich, I want to know, is he right?
Well, first of all right, he's talking to Forbes magazine here. This is a different crowd. This isn't, you know, this isn't GameSpot or IGN, okay? So he's going to say things like this, all right? When I used to do interviews with Forbes down in Venezuela, you know, when I was an exec back there, you know, I would say things like this.
Because you have to.
You have to.
What is he going to say? Like, it's bad?
Yeah. But you ask me, is he right? Well, Brian, we have a period of time where PlayStation won. Was it best for the industry? I think it's arguable. I don't think what he's saying is that crazy.
It's not that
when
crazy.
the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 were, you know, at the top of the industry, you know, not only did they expand the industry by tens of millions of people, literally tens of millions of people, but they did so with amazing games like Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII, Gran Turismo, Twisted Metal. Like, these are games that, you know, people of that generation grew up with, okay? And I think that that is great for the industry because they expanded it with amazing games.
It is great for the industry, but how they expanded it was by making an affordable system. And I don't think if they had won with the $600 system, if that would have been good for the industry. And I agree with you. You know, of course he's going to say stuff like this. People always blow these stories out of proportion. Like, what a comment Jack Tretton said. He's the CEO of a corporation talking to Forbes. Of course he's going to say something like this. But I got a little beef with something he said later on. He later in the interview says that Sony, because they target the mainstream, has to take more risks than Nintendo. Are you out of your mind? First of all, nothing is more mainstream than the Wii and the DS, right?
I agree.
And you're talking about, you know, risks. The Wii and the DS are risks. The PlayStation 3 and the PSP are just upgraded, you know, graphical versions of their systems.
I'm with
you.
you.
The epitome of no
Hey, I'm
risk.
with you. I'll tell you what, though. If he made that comment pre-PS3, maybe it would have made some sense.
Right.
They brought the, you know, the disc, the CD into the situation.
Affordable. They changed how publishing works in the industry.
But to say that now, okay, it's a bit ridiculous. To say that back then would have made sense, so what can you do? Dragon Age is coming out soon, and along with it is Day 1 DLC. Brian, are we paying for what should already be on the disc?
From my understanding, it's called Warden's Keep. It's going to add a new dungeon, some abilities, items, all this kind of stuff. Yes, of course we are.
Yeah.
This sounds like Resident Evil all over again. Remember you downloaded it and it was like 600 kilobytes?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I got an entire multiplayer mode. You fit that all in 600 kilobytes?
Yeah.
This is baloney. This is the negative side of DLC.
Yep.
And the worst part is it's coming from BioWare.
Listen. Hold on a second. BioWare, listen. At least lie to us.
Lie to us.
Lie to us. Put it out 3 months later. Tell us that you worked hard on it after release, and then we'll pay for it. But putting it out day one, I mean, you're literally just admitting that you already made it, it should be included in the game, and you're making us pay for it.
Unbelievable. And I want to say something real quick. I love BioWare. Mass Effect 2, one of the most hyped games. I cannot wait for it. But they're working on that. They're working on Dragon Age, and they're working on a giant MMO.
Yep.
And the marketing from Dragon Age it's the worst marketing I've ever seen. Is this the end of BioWare?
Marilyn Manson?
What is going
in
on
the trailer
here?
for
Day
Dragon
one
Age?
DLC?
The spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate?
I don't know what's going on. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we discuss the new Modern Warfare 2 trailer, our impressions on Demon Souls, and we play the percentages. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Be sure to subscribe to TWiGames.com via RSS, iTunes, YouTube, and Twitter. That's TWiGames.